Welcome back, guys, to episode 15 of the Jay Hutton Show. First of all, we've been away for a good few weeks. At the minute, I've been mad busy tattooing, so that's the excuse. But we are back with a bang. We're in a new setup here at Liverpool Podcast Studios. Jacob and the guys have been smashing it behind the scenes. And of course, they've got an amazing new setup here, which I'm sure you'll all agree is lovely. My guest today, we are back with a bang. Sian Green, Lord. What an inspirational person. I came across your story last week for the first time, and wow, I was blown away when I read that, what you've been through. We'll get into it in a minute because it was a horrific story, but to see where you've come and where you're at today, I just thought was so inspirational. I thought I've got to get her on the podcast if she'll do it. So thank you so much for coming in.
No, thank you for having me.
First of all, can we go back to the beginning and say, just get to know you a bit, whereabouts are you from, and tell us a bit about your background.
Yes, so I am from Leicester.
Yeah.
I am a model, motivational speaker and content creator.
Right.
And I'm a wife and a mum.
Nice. Love that. And so for anyone that doesn't know, you were involved in an accident while you were on holiday in 2013?
That's correct. So nearly 9 years ago.
Yeah.
Myself and my best friend Keisha decided 2013 was going to be the year that we lived out on many conversations of going to New York City. It was a place we'd always dreamed about. We met each other when we were 16 years old.
Right.
So we were 24 at the time. We thought, this is going to be the year. We're going to do this.
Yeah.
So we planned our trip. We were so excited. And August the 19th, we boarded our plane to New York. We arrived quite late at night. So we thought to ourselves, right, do we go out or do we want to wake up fresh the next day? So we were like, do you know what? No, we're gonna, go to sleep, be good.
Yeah, I was going to say, very good.
Yeah.
Go to New York, you'll be
we
straight
just
out.
wanted to spend the full day because I know what it's like when we go out and party, we ain't going to go home.
Yeah. True.
So yeah, that's exactly what we did. But unfortunately, when we woke up in the morning, there was a problem with our shower. So I called down to reception and I just basically said, look, is there any chance it can be fixed or can we actually change rooms? So there's no problem. We can change your rooms, but at around 12 o'clock when somebody checks out, no problem. She said, go around New York, kill some time and come back and change your rooms. So that's effectively what we were doing.
Right.
And we got breakfast at the hotel. Our hotel was right near Times Square. So we was just walking around, enjoying the sights, taking some photos. It was a really amazing morning.
Yeah.
And I remember us just walking because obviously everything's in blocks when you're walking around there.
Yeah.
So I just remember just walking around. This guy said to us, do you want to get on one of the hop-on, hop-off buses? We just politely declined and just said, no, we want to walk the streets. And I think we'd been walking for quite a while at that point because I think we'd probably left the hotel at about 9:15.
Yeah.
And this was just before, I think maybe 11 o'clock. So yeah, we've been walking for a bit. So we decided to just stop off, get a drink and then carry on walking. And I always remember Keisha saying to me, shall we go this way? And I was kind of looking around and I thought, well, that's going to take us a little bit further away from the hotel.
Yeah.
Probably need to stay a little bit closer. So we were just walking right by Rockefeller Center and I remember we had this drink and I remember looking at Keisha and saying, God, this is so nice. Everything in America's just got twice as much sugar in as well.
It's extreme over there, isn't it?
So I was like, oh, wow, this is amazing. So I remember looking at her, but if you look at somebody, their eye line isn't on you, but they're still kind of listening to what you're saying. So she's kind of almost like this.
Yeah.
And I was closest to the road. But when I say that, obviously, if anyone's ever been to New York, you know how wide the pavements are.
Yeah.
They are quite big.
Yeah.
And even the curbs, they're quite high. So she was basically looking into the road. And by the time I looked at what she was looking at, it was almost a little bit too late at that point. So following on from a cyclist and a taxi driver arguing in the road. So later on, obviously, we discovered that the cyclist had cut the taxi driver up and the taxi didn't like it because the cyclist banged on the hood of his car. And the cyclist came onto the pavement where Keisha and I were walking and the taxi driver followed him. So he hit the cyclist and then he hit me, severing off my left leg below the knee.
What? He done that on purpose?
Yeah. So he did that on purpose.
Wow.
I know a lot of the time if I do say, if somebody does ask me and they say, oh, I explain it and they say, I got hit by a taxi, they always automatically assume that I was in the road or, the taxi come around the corner. But no, he actually mounted the curb on purpose to hit the cyclist. And then it was just like a domino effect. I couldn't get out of the way. And it was almost like even if I close my eyes now, I can see them both coming towards me. And it was almost like I was just stuck.
Yeah.
And I just couldn't move.
Yeah.
And I just had to take the impact.
Wow. So what happened then?
So I flew over the hood of the taxi and landed a few feet away, face down it was like, I can't really describe what it is. It's like a big flower bed where like trees and shrubbery would be.
Yeah.
But it's kind of like obviously off the road. It's almost like a decorative thing, but I landed face down in it. And obviously I'm missing a limb at that point. So I'm bleeding to death.
Wow.
So I woke up strangely 2 minutes later and just what felt like a circus. Screams, cars, just everyone just running around the place.
So did you black out when the car hit you?
Yeah. So when the car hit me, I did black out, but I think maybe the commotion kind of just like woke me up.
Yeah.
But I just always remember just thinking to myself, like, you know, just seeing really like bright lights when I was awake. And I just thought, wait, what am I doing here basically? And then I don't know what it was. It was almost like someone clicked their fingers and I just remembered everything. And I just kept saying over and over again, he's hit me, he's hit me, he's hit me. And I just remember everyone saying to me, stay still, stay still. But I don't know if it was almost like the adrenaline in my body.
Yeah.
I tried to push myself up.
Yeah.
And then I realized how winded I was, so I couldn't breathe. And then obviously I started to then panic.
Yeah.
Because I thought I'd broken my legs.
Yeah.
I was just thinking, wow, I've come on, this is the first morning of my holiday. I'm with my best friend and I've broken both my legs in the middle of New York.
Yeah.
I was like, what are the chances?
Yeah.
So, but then this plumber by the name of Dave Justino would rush over and use his belt as a tourniquet and stop me from bleeding.
I saw that. I read about that and I thought, wow.
He was, he's the reason why I'm literally sat with you right now.
That is incredible, isn't it?
So,
Jesus Christ.
yeah, that's majorly what happened in that moment.
And so it's hard to even ask questions about this because obviously I can't imagine. Well, I can imagine, but it's not going to be the same as what it's like to go through it. But, you know, the guy who came over and obviously knew what he was doing with the belt and wrapping the tourniquet, what happened next? Did you were wide awake? You were fully conscious then at this point? You realised what's happened?
So I think after I felt like all the pressure on my legs, because I was really lucky to keep this leg as well. I have a scar that runs that way on my leg. And that was the point that he hit me as well on my left leg.
Wow.
So they had to amputate higher. But because that leg was obviously badly damaged as well, a lady who was walking her dog came over, gave him a dog lead. He wrapped this leg up and all they could do was wait for the ambulance. So when the ambulance obviously got there, I'll never forget, they had the job of then turning me over to put me on the stretcher. And I will just never forget the feeling in my body was just undescribable.
Really?
It was awful. It just basically felt like somebody had set me on fire.
Really? How long was it did the ambulance take to get to you? Roughly?
I mean, for me, it felt like a lifetime, I think all in all, maybe around 10 minutes.
And in that 10 minutes, did you know you'd lost your leg?
No, I didn't know at all. I didn't know at all until I was in the ambulance. And I always remember, you know, they gave me the oxygen mask and everything. And obviously still at that point, didn't know until the paramedic called through to the hospital and said a possible amputation. And I just started to go insane and they were trying to hold me on the stretcher. And and it was really strange because when he said it, I was like saying to him, like, please, you've got to save my leg. Please save it.
Yeah.
And he just looked at me and I could just see it in his face. And he just said, I'm so sorry. There's nothing I can do. And it was strange. It was almost like somebody put their hands on my shoulders because when he said it, I felt calm.
Right.
And I just lay back and I just said, okay. It
Really?
was such a strange, when I look back at it now, it was almost like I had energy around me just saying it's okay.
It's like a form of acceptance straight away for it.
Yeah. And I was just thinking to myself, okay, you're alive. Just you're alive.
Yeah.
Just get through this next part.
Yeah.
Until I got to the hospital.
So did the taxi driver stop after he'd hit you?
Yeah, so because he'd mounted the curb, my leg got pinned to the front of his taxi, and almost like, like a misshit. It's almost like if this was in the middle of like the pavement and it was decorative and it's a rock.
Yeah.
So my leg got pinned to the front and to the back of that, and that's the reason why it come off.
Oh, really?
So yeah.
Bloody hell. And he did stop.
Yeah, because he mounted and he couldn't, obviously his car was like that up on the rock.
And what was he do? What did
he just
do?
stayed in the taxi.
Was people around him going nuts?
Yeah, I think a few people had to be like held back by police because there was numerous witnesses. There were so many people that had witnessed what had happened. So they were obviously really angry. It could have been anyone, because where myself and Keisha were walking, there was almost like a crowd of people. So you had people with children in pushchairs and everything. He had no awareness that his actions could have harmed so many more people.
Yeah.
It just so happened that it just happened to be me.
And he was just going after this guy on a bike because he cut him up.
Yep.
How is that guy driving a taxi? That is a mental person.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Like, how is it like,
just to have that blackout of rage and want to use your vehicle as a weapon to really harm somebody.
Yeah.
Because he still hit the cyclist.
Did he?
Yeah, but the cyclist hurt his knee.
Wow.
Yeah.
I feel like I need to take a breath.
Yeah. I'll have a sip of water.
Yeah, same. Wow. Do you know what? I'd read up about your story and I was completely shocked. But when I'm hearing it from you yourself, it's taking my breath away just listening to it.
Yeah, it is a lot.
It's
sometimes it feels weird that actually happened to me. It's strange. It's
I was going to say it must...
Weird realization.
Yeah, I mean, 2013 to me seems like a long time ago, but I'd imagine that feels like yesterday to you.
Yeah, sometimes it doesn't and sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah.
Because then I think, God, I've done so much within the 9 years, but then still equally it is really strange.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So were you on holiday with your friend?
Yes.
So how did your family react to it? I mean, did they fly out straight away? Like, how long were you over there for?
Yeah, so obviously was meant to be there for just the 7 days. So I ended up being there for nearly 6 weeks.
Really?
Very, very lucky that my mum and dad were able to fly out to me. I think it was the very next morning. Because of the time difference of when it happened, it was obviously we're 5 hours ahead.
Yeah.
So my dad was at work. My mum was actually at a funeral. So she had to obviously leave there. My dad had to come back home. It was actually my friend Keisha that had called my sister. That was the only number that she had. She didn't have my mum's number or anything. So she just called my sister. And then my sister was able to, put everything into action. My sister's like Wonder Woman. She just knows what to do in every situation. So she handled everything. My auntie at the time was working for BA. So she managed to get the flight sorted. My, then boyfriend, now husband, was in Ibiza. So he had to fly. Everything was just logistically hard to try and get everybody on the same flight. And so they managed to get out to me though.
That is crazy. So your boyfriend was in Ibiza?
Yeah, just landed.
Oh my God. Yeah. So he was going for the same week, was he? He was going there, you were going there.
That was right. And then when our plan was when we come back, it was like 4 days and then we both went to Paris together. But so that was the plan.
How long had you guys been together?
Only a year.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, fair play.
Yeah, so it was one of them things, we were living together at the time. I was at uni, he was in the army. And I just always remember thinking, okay, this is not going to be, he's not going to accept this or what. I don't know why I would have thought that, but, because we'd been together at that point, we knew each other. But, a year, that's still, it is still early. You are still really getting to know a person. Yeah. It's not of that long. So I just remember when he walked in, he was just like, don't need the conversation. I don't want to talk about it. Don't be silly.
Really?
And then I don't think we've ever spoke about it since.
That's lovely. That's lovely. It seems like exactly how it should be.
Yeah.
But that's incredible. That's lovely.
Yeah.
So then your family flew out straight away?
Yes. So I had my mum, my dad, my sister. I actually do have family in New York.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So they were all there. My mum obviously called them when I was going to the hospital. So they were there after my first surgery. And yeah, so I just had everyone around me. Even a week later, my nan, my auntie flew out. So I was really lucky.
Really? And they amputated straight away, did they?
Yeah, they had to basically just work with what they had. So that's why they had to amputate higher than where he hit me, because my bone, my skin was just not there anymore.
Yeah. So is it from the knee down or below the knee?
Yeah, so just below the knee.
Oh, right.
I was very, very lucky to keep my knee.
Yeah, I was going to say, I know a few people who've had some limbs amputated and some are a lot above the knee.
Yeah. So I just, I still get to keep like the joint in my leg.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's very, very small though.
How did... I need to ask this because
you can ask me anything.
Understand.
Absolutely anything.
But how does it feel at the time to know that your leg's going to be amputated and then once it is amputated, you must go through some crazy thoughts.
Yeah, of course.
To come round back to it, the acceptance of it.
Yeah, I think because I didn't know anything about disability. I didn't know anything about amputations, prosthetics, nothing. So when someone tells you, possible amputation, then you wake up and you have no limb, I wouldn't even be able to describe what that feels like. I think I was just ridiculously confused.
Yeah.
And just didn't know what it meant for my life at that point.
Yeah.
I didn't know anything.
Yeah.
So at the time I didn't even want to, it took me weeks to be able to look at it. I didn't want to see.
Yeah.
So I think doing things in my own time made it better for me in the long run, but it's just a weird feeling.
Yeah.
Just knowing that a part of you is now gone from, especially in how mine happened.
Yeah.
I still had so many questions around that.
Yeah.
But then also equally trying to accept this was hard.
Because as I'm listening to it, it feels to me like it's all happened so fast. To go from being hit by a car to then waking up with your leg amputated is so fast, even though the time, as it's happening, is probably so like, it feels like a lifetime, I would expect. But it just feels like it's so quick. And then to finally just go, right, this has happened and now what?
Yeah.
It's incredible.
I always remember, I think it might have been like a week or maybe a week and a half in. And my mum said to me, there's a guy going to come in and speak to you about prosthetics. And at that point I was like, what's a prosthetic?
Yeah.
Again, I didn't know what. I was like, what? He was like, like an artificial limb. And I was like, oh, okay. And when he come in, I just remember him like showing me these leaflets and these prosthetics. And I just remember zoning out. Like I was just like, I don't think I'm ready for this right now.
It's too quick.
It's too quick. And I think at that point I was angry.
Yeah.
You go through the okay, I'm alive sort of thing. Wow, I'm alive. To no, this should never have happened to me. I was living my life. I was 24. I was a fashion student, had my whole life planned ahead of me. Why has this happened to me?
Yeah.
You go through so many different emotions.
It sounds almost like grief. Like you're grieving a loss, aren't you?
You are. You are grieving a loss.
Yeah.
Because it's a loss of, my independence, my whole life, everything I knew was gone. So, to have your head around it, it's just, a bit indescribable, really.
Yeah, and I'd imagine it takes a long time to, and we're not talking days, weeks, months, or years, really, aren't you?
I feel like you're in that recovery stage all the time.
Yeah.
I don't think there's, because I do advocate on social media, positive body image and acceptance and all that. But I always remind everyone, I'm not like this 100% of the time.
Yeah.
And I think I always like to say it, not because I want anyone to feel bad for me, but it's the realization of, I have amputees message me on a weekly basis saying, when can I get to your stage? And I'm like, you need to ride that wave of everything you're feeling at that time. How I am right now, working with brands and, posing with my leg out.
Yeah.
That's not you right now. No. You can build and get to that stage.
Yeah.
But it's a process.
Yeah, of course.
And even I'm that 10%, it does get to me.
Of course.
Yeah.
I don't think it's something, I think with social media, a lot of people they see this lifestyle and they think they just believe what they see. But I think if you're, realistic, most people know that, you're not always going to be feeling amazing.
No.
No one does.
No.
But I think for me, seeing your social media and the things you do and the things you promote is the fact that you are able to even do those things and, you know, promote those things. Some people wouldn't even get out of bed.
No.
Again, you know, some people would be spiral out of control. And
of
the
course,
fact that you have not allowed yourself to, that doesn't mean, just because you haven't allowed yourself to doesn't mean you don't have bad days, does it?
No.
And so to get where you are, I just thought it was absolutely incredible.
Thank you.
It really is. And so you're now married, right?
Yes.
So how long after all this did you get married?
We got married in... Oh God, I have to think now.
Normally the guy forgets.
Oh, don't watch, William. We got married in 2016.
Right,
so
okay.
What? 3 years.
3 years later.
3 years.
She's terrible.
Got no math skills either.
You'll be watching this and be like, what? I should forget that.
2016, I got married. So yeah,
Yeah.
It was amazing. We had such an amazing time. It was
Really?
just nice to just celebrate something so happy.
Yeah.
After, you know, just so much upset and, you know, learn how to walk again. That was a completely different ball game
I was just
as
going to
well.
ask you about that.
Yeah.
What's it like learning to walk again? It must be.
It was difficult, but I had a little bit of an advantage, and because I used to be a stilt walker.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So I kind of used my prosthetic as almost like the same training as I did on stilts.
Did you? Fair play.
Yeah. So with stilts, you can't feel like surface. So if you was to slip on a stilt, you're going to go down.
Yeah.
Your prosthetic leg is the same thing because you can't feel if something's wet or slippy or anything like that. I was like, right, okay, I've got this. I was like, no problem. Okay, I can do it. Get me walking in these bars.
The doctors are like, she knows what she's doing. This is really weird. She like has got it bang on. How?
So yeah, but it was, you know, it's a process. I think sometimes if people see people with prosthetics, they think, oh yeah, they're fine. They're walking now. They've got a leg. It's not like that. You really have to build it up.
Yeah,
so your leg's really soft at first, and then it literally goes all bony, just like your fist.
Yeah.
And so after a while, when it's all built up and all the muscles kind of healing and everything, then you can start walking on it a little bit more.
And how long, like, is the healing process after you've had the amputation? Is it?
I think it definitely depends on the individual.
Does it?
Yeah, massively, because I know one girl that I speak to often on Instagram. She's been an amputee for maybe 1.5 years and she's still not got the prosthetic right. So she's just in a wheelchair.
Really?
Yeah. So it honestly does depend. But I think in my case, I got a leg. This happened to me in August 2013. I'd had a leg by the November.
Wow.
Yeah, so it was okay to walk on, obviously not every day, all day, but I definitely built it up. But it does take, I think in my case, at least 1 year to feel completely comfortable.
Really?
But like I said, everyone is different.
And how old were you at the time?
I was 24.
Wow, that's so young as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
Jeez, that is so young. And so what happened to the taxi driver?
So he was never arrested.
What?
Yeah, he was never arrested. Our laws are completely different to here in America. And I wasn't able to give a statement. One of the excuses, the police or detectives, whatever they tried to do, said I wasn't able to give a statement at the scene and neither was my friend. And then it became a bit of a he said, she said kind of thing between the cyclist and the taxi driver. But then even, you know, when the police were coming to the hospital to see me, getting my statement and everything, they were, you know, they really act like they're on your side. And they weren't. They were just all for him. The Taxi and Limousine Commission is owned by the state of New York.
Oh, right.
They protect their own. They don't protect you.
Really?
Yeah. So, unfortunately, he had a 30-day ban. And that was it. So I think he's still driving a taxi in New York now.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I can't believe that. That is incredible. So he didn't do any time in jail?
No, nothing. Nothing. And he nearly killed me.
Fucking hell, sorry.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it is definitely that expression.
Oh my God.
And it was one of them things, I think, obviously I'm from the UK. I flew back. I think they thought it was out of sight, out of mind kind of case. You know, I had a lawyer who was fighting it for me for years. But no, nothing ever came for me to get real justice from what had happened. And I think I struggled with that.
Yeah, I was going to say,
It was really hard to now be back in the UK where I thought flying back, it's all I wanted. I just, do you know what? I wanted just a cup of tea. You know, like a proper English cup of tea. So when I got back, I was like, oh, just make me a tea.
That is proper UK, isn't it?
Proper UK. And then, you know, after all the, you know, you've seen everyone and everything dies down, you're then left to figure this new life out for yourself. And that was quite difficult, knowing that there was nothing going to happen to him. He wasn't going to have any consequences to his life. It was all me.
But what about all the people that witnessed it?
Every statement, every phone call was recorded. It was like it never happened.
That is, I don't even know what to say.
Yeah, many people don't when they're like, huh? Because if it was here, instantly it would be completely different.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think you'd be banned for life. You wouldn't be able to.
And you'd definitely be going to jail.
You definitely would.
That makes the story even worse. You know, it's like, there's no justification, is there?
No. And I think, like I said, when I found that out, I think it was maybe the October after it had happened. And I just remember being at home and again, the anger, the tears, the fight to try. And I think almost a part of my journey has always been like, do you know what? You are not going to defeat me.
Yeah.
You may have done something to me, but you are not going to consume the rest of my life because I'm going to win here. You're not the winner.
Yeah.
I'm the winner.
Yeah.
So I think I've always just been like, had that fighter mentality. I'm like, I'll show you.
You know, though, that's exactly why you are where you are today. It's that's what one thing I think, you know, people will take inspiration from when they watch it is that is you cannot have anything less, I don't think, but not everyone has it.
No.
And I don't know, do you think that's something you've developed through that, or do you think you've always been like that?
I think a part of me has always been like that, but I always say, because a lot of people will say to me, I could never do what you've done. I could never be as strong as you. I can never, you know, be as confident as you. I'm like, but you can, because I think you have certain realms of your body that you've not tapped into yet until you're pushed to your very limit.
Yeah.
So me having this whole thing happen to me, it just almost brings out a different strength in you that you don't know you're going to have, because, you know, not the average person's going to get hit by a taxi and nearly die.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
So I always say I like to think that people can be as strong as me and they can still carry on. And that's why I always say to everyone, even when I'm doing talks, I'm just saying, it doesn't matter what happens in your life. We will always, everybody will always go through something that they want to change.
Yeah.
But you can't, and you have to just carry on.
Yeah. You
can't let it consume you. You can't let it break you. And you simply just have to keep going.
Yeah, it is true. It's a never give up mentality, isn't it?
No, and it's hard, and I get it is so hard for some people because it's about self-motivation as well, I think. And I think I've always been a person, if I wanted something, I've been a bit of a go-getter. Yeah. So if I want something, I'm going to go get it.
Yeah.
And I will have it.
Yeah.
So I think for me, walking was a main priority. Getting back to university, I went back to uni even when I was in my wheelchair. I was like, I love this course. I want to finish it.
Yeah.
So I finished on time with all the same friends and graduated. And it was such an amazing moment. I think that was really the start of me, because I was doing uni work and learning how to walk again, it was crazy. When I look back at it now, I think, you were a bit mental. How the hell did you do that? But I did it. And that's the main thing.
Yeah. Well, I think it's a case of proving to yourself, isn't it? You know, you've had a massive challenge put in front of you then, isn't it? It's like most people here are supposed to crumble and fall and that's it.
Yeah.
And instead you've decided, no, I'm going to dust myself off and I'm going to make something of this now. And I don't think a lot of people now strongly are until they're put in extreme circumstances where they think, I mean, if you told anyone that story, if this happened to you, what do you think? Everyone would say, I don't know, I could cope with that.
Of course.
Until it happens.
Happens.
And then obviously not everyone would be as strong as you. So hats off to you with
Thank you.
What did you do for work before all this?
So because I was at university, I was working part-time at Hugo Boss.
Yeah.
So I obviously would just have my job there.
Yeah.
I was dancing as well. So I used to dance for an agency. So
cool.
Just like club dancing, event dancing, stilts.
Yeah.
So that's what I used to do.
And obviously this has changed all that for you as well.
Everything.
How did that feel?
Again, just like something had been ripped away from me without my control.
Yeah.
And it's the enjoyment of life. You find things in life that you love.
Yeah.
And I was doing everything.
Yeah.
I was doing everything I loved.
Yeah.
That was really hard.
Yeah.
So even going on holiday, that's a different ball game in itself. I have to make sure I have so much more extra things.
Yeah.
Just in case something happens to my leg, if it swells up, and it's just that sometimes can take the joy out of it. And even traveling, the trauma of getting on any plane, it's always in the back of my mind. Am I ever going to return home? It's like a trauma that will always be there.
Yeah.
So it's all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's interesting you say that. So do you feel like going on holiday is almost, it makes you relive, even if you're not going back to New York or you're going anywhere, just getting on a plane, going somewhere, is that relive that trauma for you?
Yeah, obviously the destination's different, but even heat, like me and my friend both said, when it gets hot outside, because it happened when we were in the heat, sometimes I get uncomfortable.
Really?
Yeah.
That's so interesting.
So interesting. But again, it's all part of trauma.
Yeah. I was going to say, and so obviously now you do your motivational speaking. Is that what you do full time now?
I've actually just started doing that again, but I'm actually a full-time model.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, awesome. That's fucking quality. Oh, nice. That's well good. And do you talk about this sort of thing? Do you go all over talking about things?
Yeah. So I was in Leeds last week. I did 3 days at a school, which was amazing.
Oh,
I did like
really?
a summer school, and they were the youngest students I've spoke to, because normally I tend to do like year 10s and 11s.
Really?
And they were the youngest group, so they were year 6s going into year 7.
Yeah.
I love talking to them because
Really?
their minds are so innocent.
Yeah.
And it just gives you a extra sense of fulfillment.
Yeah.
I think because you're giving them the opportunity to ask someone with a disability anything they want.
Yeah.
And they're, I think, taught to basically walk by, look away, not ask questions.
Yeah.
But even when I'm in the supermarket, I'll always encourage, if, she's got a metal leg, and the mum and dads are like, oh my God. I'm like, it's fine, come here.
Yeah.
You can have a look. Do you want to touch it? They're like, this is so cool. Like,
because they don't mean anything by it, do they?
don't.
They're just so innocent.
Yeah, and I think sometimes they think they've caused offence, but I'm really trying to do that with my school talks, is to condition students to, this is okay.
Yeah.
I live with this every single day. It's not a bad disability. Calling myself disabled, it's not a dirty word.
Yeah.
It is just a word that describes me.
Yeah.
I think what people don't like about it is the stereotype.
Yeah.
And that's what I love to try and change, through my social media and any campaigns that I'm a part of.
Yeah.
It's about getting rid of that dated stereotype that people with disabilities can't do things. We can't, get married, have kids, live normal lives, because we can.
Yeah.
And that's what, so when I'm in school, I come away and I just feel like this is my purpose. I know it's
really
awful what happened. I am making the best of it, but I honestly think this did happen to me for a reason.
Do you know what? I'm such a believer in these things, that things happen for a reason, because, you go to these schools and you talk to these people, and obviously with your online profiling and all these people that message you because you've helped them with what you're saying and your body positivity and all that sort of thing, you're changing people's lives and having an impact on other people's lives and helping them for the better. And if this hadn't happened, who knows where some of them people might be if you hadn't spoke to them.
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a messed up way of going around about it, but it must be your purpose, I think.
It is. And I always like to focus on the positives with any situation.
Yeah.
And I feel like I've always had that element in me, even from day one, even from losing my leg. I'm right, okay, like I said, I'm alive. That's another positive. Okay, I can still go, I can do this. Okay. It's giving myself that confidence that I'm then able to pass on to others.
Yeah.
But I love what I do.
Really?
It is really fulfilling. And like I said, I didn't choose this life. I was going to go and be a fashion buyer, sit in an office.
Really?
That was what I wanted to do. But,
really?
We make plans and they might not follow through the way that we want, but we can always make the best out of every situation, I think.
Yeah, that's so nice to hear you say that sort of thing, especially to kids that young as well, because hearing you say that, they won't forget things like that.
Yeah, and I always say to them, even after like everything, I tell them about body image, and especially when they're in like year 9 to 11, I heavily tell them about how important it is to be completely transparent on social media and to just be yourself.
Yeah.
But when I've gone through it all, and to see their faces, and they look grateful.
Yeah.
And I just that's the most thing, like that's the thing I love the most about it.
I bet. Yeah.
Yeah.
It has such an effect on kids that young, especially that young as well, because kids are easily influenced.
So easily influenced.
And especially with, I think, with that age, like, they're not supposed to say anything. It's almost like the shock factor, isn't it?
Yeah.
And then that's when their brains are ready to soak up what information you're going to tell them, isn't it?
That's it. So even when I start talking, I always say to them, you can ask me anything you want, any question you want. And after I've finished, they're always like looking at their friends like, I'm like, come on, you want to ask me a question? Within 2 minutes of one person asking me a question, all their hands are up.
Yeah. And do they ask anything that you think, oh God?
Not really. But one student I had last week asked me a question that nobody else had ever asked me. And I was actually quite shocked that he asked me it.
Right.
And he said, do you still dream like you are able-bodied or an amputee? No one's ever asked me that before, because there's a huge studies on stuff like that. But it's strange that he asked me that, because I feel like recently I've started to now dream that I do have a prosthetic.
Really?
Yeah, and not just go to sleep and in my dream I've just got no issues.
So it's like your subconscious is now accepting it.
Yes.
As it is, and you're seeing yourself as you are now.
In a dream. Yeah.
Yeah, I've never thought of that.
Yeah.
That's incredible, really, isn't it? How old was that kid?
I know. He was literally 11. I was like,
God.
Wow.
Albert Einstein over there. Oh, God, absolute genius. That's incredible. So, obviously, before you came, you sent me this article. Is that a recent thing, this article that's come out?
Friday.
Oh, so it's only just come out Friday.
Super recent. So obviously I know we've been.
Yeah, so tell everyone at home what's happened here.
So what has happened is, it was brought to my attention that on Friday my friend had sent me this image, and I was so confused. I was like, what is this? And it was just basically like almost like a cartoony type illustration of, well, now I know is myself, of a woman who I actually have worked with before called Naomi, and a few other people. We've all been added into this campaign from the Spanish government about body positivity, but they've used my picture that I had taken when I was in Ibiza back in May and edited the whole entire picture. So to the point where they've even edited out my prosthetic leg.
Yeah, I saw that.
What makes zero sense. Obviously, they've used all these images without anybody's permission, for one, in a huge campaign, and edited everyone in it. And it's so, what's hurtful about this in my case is that you've got to remember, for the past 9 years, I've built myself and built my confidence to now accept that this is a part of my body.
Yeah.
So for someone to use my picture, look at it and think, okay, I want that pose for this poster, but I don't want her prosthetic leg, and I'm going to make it so she has a regular normal leg.
Yeah.
My mind is blown.
Yeah. It's just, in an article about body positivity as well.
Yes.
Well, body positive, but we'll change that.
Yeah, we'll change that. We love this picture. We're not going to tell her about it. We're going to change everything about it and hope she never sees it. But my friend took one look at it and said, that's Sian. Sent it to me and said, am I going crazy? Or is this you? And I was like, no, that's actually my picture from May. I don't...
So, you got in touch with the artist? Did you get in touch with the artist? Or
No, I've not got in touch with the artist as of yet. When I found out about it, it was very late on the Friday. I was a maid of honor last weekend for my friend's wedding.
Right.
So I was already at the venue. I couldn't deal with what was going on at the time.
I was going to say at a wedding as well. Oh my God.
I didn't know what to do. I felt like my body wasn't in control of my mind. I was shaking. I didn't know why somebody had done this. I didn't know why somebody wanted to talk about body positivity. But then say, well, not with people with disabilities though, not with prosthetic legs, absolutely not.
Yeah.
But I do want to, put this campaign out there to be positive towards people's bodies. That makes zero sense.
If we can just change a couple of things.
Yeah.
Well, that defeats the whole object.
The whole entire object. And I don't know. I don't know a lot about the disability community in Spain. I don't know if it's a strong one. I don't know what presence they have there.
Yeah.
But all I know is when I go to Spain, they're very respectful people. They don't look at me like some other countries that I go to, or, very obviously stare at me and point and things like that. They're very respectful.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Like I said, this was last Friday. Today is Monday. I don't know.
Still processing it.
It's still very shocking to me that I don't think it's fully sank in yet. But I'm just really disappointed.
It's shocking that,
it's hard to say something about it because they haven't commented.
Especially like you said, use your image without asking you, and also then change it.
And what I don't understand, a lot of people have said, the Spanish government have paid like 85,000 euro to get this campaign up and running. Why would they not just use regular models?
Well, the campaign's just flopped.
Yeah.
You've used an image of someone who just said, you've just changed everything about me on it. Like, what a waste of money.
That is a massive waste of money because now, it's everywhere now. So I'm hoping they just pull the whole thing. And I don't have any answers. I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know anything right now. But all I know is that, I don't really know a lot. But it's really hurtful. And I'm just, like I said, I'm just still processing.
Yeah, especially
emotion.
when, like you said, you've been working on building your confidence back up and accepting the way things are for yourself now, and to have someone take your image and change it in a body positivity campaign.
It's my identity.
Yeah.
It's a part of me. So that's what I don't understand. If you're going to use my image, use it properly.
Yeah.
Don't use it and then change absolutely everything about it.
Yeah.
Use it.
Yeah. Because you post, I've went through your Instagram over the last few days because, you post a lot about body positivity, don't you? And it's so nice to see because you see a lot of people, especially young females, I think, who are trying to just be perfect all the time.
Yeah.
And I understand it if you're always on social media, it's thrown in your face, isn't it? Perfection, perfection.
It's there constantly. Like it really is. But that's what I always say to people, be an honest poster.
Yeah.
You just have to be honest in what you're doing and what you're promoting, because it can have a damaging effect of the people that are following you.
Yeah.
So I just always like to, promote what I'm promoting at the time in the best way that I can.
Yeah.
That I know that someone's gonna, even if I'm writing a caption, what are they gonna get from me saying this?
Yeah.
So me using my voice, what do I want someone to get from this?
Yeah.
And that's what I think about every single time I post.
That's you're the type of person that everyone should be following, because I'm not even joking. I'm going to say this, right? Me and my brother were out the other morning in Starbucks, and some girl was stood there, and she took her phone out. She was fine. She was waiting for a coffee, and she took her phone out on a selfie mode and pretended to fake cry for a picture. And went, and then took the picture and then went off and just went, I must have posted it. And Dan went, did you just fucking see that? And I said, what? I said, he goes, she was just fake crying. I said,
no.
And I'm thinking, so many people do this stuff. And I think, it's just, what is going on with the world where people are fake crying?
No,
and taking a picture of it and posting it like they're sad, but you're in Starbucks having a coffee and I'm watching you do it. What's wrong with you?
No, that's very wrong. That's not the example of honest posting.
No, that's not. That's what I'm saying.
No.
It's the fake thing for for attention and likes,
attention
and people's minds are warped by this whole fake life of let's be a almost like trying to be that online persona is the real them, but it's not. It's completely not them.
I don't understand. I get it to the point where that's why I always say to people, don't follow the people that you don't basically want to aspire to, or if you think, God, I love their life, I'm really consumed in this, unfollow them.
Yeah.
as much as harsh as it may sound, even if I'm not doing things for you that I want you to unfollow me.
Yeah.
Like it's just consume yourself with what brings you positivity and good mental health.
Yeah.
Because that's what it all boils down to. It's
100%.
your mental health.
Yeah.
In men and women.
Yeah. 100%.
So I just think the rules should be applied to everyone.
Yeah. I mean, even like, it must have been about a year ago now, I just unfollowed everyone on Instagram, and it was nothing personal to anyone. I just thought, do you know what? I literally click on my phone and things pop up.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, what's this? And I could be absolutely fine, and then something might just make me think, oh, fuck off.
Yeah.
You know? And now I'm annoyed. Yeah. And I've just clicked on Instagram, so I thought, you know what? If I unfollow certain people, they might take offense. If I unfollow everyone, no one can take offense because it's nothing personal. So I just unfollowed everyone, and now I don't see it. Like what I see, I choose to look at.
That's it. It's choice.
Yeah.
I love what you just said then. Yeah, absolutely. It is about choice.
Yeah.
So if you think, oh God, social media is a toxic place, well, you've clicked on it to make it toxic.
Yeah.
Unfollow everyone.
Yeah. It is. It's just like either follow certain. I get like I unfollowed everyone because I thought, you know, I've got friends and family members that like, but like I think if you've got my phone number, we'll text. We're close enough. A follow means nothing.
It's so true. That is so true.
I'm just unfollowing everyone. No offense. So yeah, like it is about choice, and I think, you know, when you go on social media, you have a choice of who you follow and what you look at.
Yes.
So, and it does affect you. You know, you can have something that does. You could see someone's post something. It could lift your spirit and go, oh wow, that's really good. And then you could flick up and next see something that pisses you off, and you're like, I feel flat.
No, yeah, exactly. Yeah. You just do things that lift you up.
It's so nice that you post the thing. That's when I went on your Instagram. I was thinking everything is just, you know, it's real.
Yeah.
And it's like we've lost that, I think, in this generation. The
we
authenticity
really
of just be like it is enough to be yourself.
Yes.
Just be you.
Just be you. Yeah, absolutely.
And if people don't like it, who cares?
Yeah.
There's people who do.
Yeah.
Just get on with it, innit? Like, God. So what's next for you? What are your plans now?
So more motivational speaking.
Yeah.
I have a few jobs in the pipeline, which I've got to look forward to coming up.
Yeah.
Annoyingly, I'm going to be that annoying person. You know, you have to sign NDAs. You can't say things.
Yeah. Has to. Oh, yeah, I saw that you had a film, like a documentary.
I did. Is
that so? Can you talk about that?
I can talk about that.
Oh,
yes,
yeah. Okay.
Very openly.
Yeah.
So, I remember when I came back from New York, and I had quite a few various like TV production companies want to basically do like a documentary type program.
How did you feel about that at first?
I didn't really want to do it at first, but what I didn't like was the pitch. I didn't want to be a victim.
Yeah.
I didn't want everyone to be like, poor her, because I was living a completely different life at the time.
Yeah.
Trying to get out of that state of, you know, I didn't want people to be like, oh, I feel so bad for you. I'm like, I'm still alive. Like, it's okay.
Yeah.
Don't feel that bad.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just didn't like the way that people were pitching things to me. So I decided not to do it at all. And then I was working on this commercial, and my sister was there. It was in where I live in Leicester. And there was these two, you know, a producer and a cameraman. They worked together, like I said, all from Leicester. And my sister was telling them about what happened to me. And they were basically saying, well, you know, we're really wanting to film like an independent documentary. Do you think Sian would be up for doing it?
Yeah.
So, you know, they came round, we had a discussion, and I was just like, do you know what? I like the way that you're doing things. You might not have a production company, you might like a big platform to put this out, but if we can do it the way that is tasteful and gives me dignity, absolutely, where do we start?
Perfect.
So that's basically how it came about, and we started filming. I think it was like 2015, and it just all kind of went from there. And it was a really amazing process because I felt like part of it was almost therapy.
Really?
Sometimes I didn't want to talk, and they'd go, ask me one question, and then it'd be like, blah, blah, like, and then after they're gone, I'm like, God, I feel so much better.
Yeah.
It was a really nice telling of what happened to me, but then also the injustice system in New York, because even though this did happen to me, this happens quite often to people that are walking on pavements and getting hit by taxis the most.
Really?
Yeah. Even like this poor boy, it does cover his story in the documentary, and his name was Cooper, and he was walking on a crossing and got hit by a taxi at the age of 9 years old and died. So it happens quite often in New York, and it does take you through the whole injustice system there, but then obviously also covering what happened to me as well. And the way they've done it is just so amazing. So we had the premiere in Leicester at the Phoenix Theatre. So yeah, we had it there, and then I think now we've got talks to go to Birmingham and London. So
brilliant.
Yeah, so it's nice.
When did it come out?
About July 15th.
Really?
Yeah, it took a while because obviously with COVID and everything, they had it. They was going to go to like film festivals with it.
Yeah, and
they got to a few, and I think they won an award for it, and then it obviously came back to Leicester. So
wow.
Yeah.
So where can people watch it? Can they watch it?
They can't watch it as of yet because the cinemas have priority first.
Right.
And then I think what they'll do is maybe like a bit of a live stream kind of thing, like a streaming.
Yeah, go on online with it. Oh, brilliant.
Yeah. So I'll keep you updated.
Yeah, definitely do. How does it feel knowing that you've got a story, on film about your life?
It was very, again, surreal. I feel like I live my life just saying that word, but I'm like, little old me from Leicester has a film, and I'm like, wow.
It's incredible, isn't it, that you, I suppose when you were 23 and you were going on holiday to New York, you don't imagine your life turning out the way it is now.
No, absolutely not. Like I said, I was what I wanted. I was going to be a fashion buyer because I adored fashion.
Really?
And, I still do now. And I still like to think my prosthetics are an extension of my outfits.
Yeah.
That's what I like to think. But having that happen and you just not expect it, I think it definitely taught me a lesson about planning though. I don't believe in 5 to 10 year plans. If someone says even in an interview, I remember before, where do you see yourself in 10 years? Like alive, hopefully. Like what's the answer?
Yeah.
And I always just say to people, if my health is exactly how it is today in 10 years time, I'm a winner.
Yeah, 100%. It's so true. I think a lot of people get caught up in you're either, upset about the past or worried about the future and never in the present. And you're missing the present.
You're missing
all
it.
The time.
This is it. Yeah. This is like it's today.
So I was driving with my brother in the car a few weeks ago, and I was like, it's mad to think, isn't it? Like, you're sat with me in my car now, and this is the furthest you've got in life. like this is at this moment, this is the furthest either of us have got in life. This is the end bit for us at the minute. Like this. You know what I mean? Like you're in the present moment, not many people spend their life in the now, and you miss so much.
So much. Everyone's, like I said, always looking to the next thing, or what's the next holiday? What's the next move, career? What? Just enjoy now.
Yeah.
Because you're going to look back and think, oh, I wish I'd have maybe done that a little bit more. Oh, I wish I'd have, maybe spent a bit more time with this person. But you can do it now.
Yeah. Yeah, there's no time like now, is there?
Yeah, no time like the present.
It's actually it's so true. And one of the questions I wanted to ask you is, I remember tattooing a lad who'd had his leg amputated.
Oh, okay.
And he was lying on the bed.
Yeah.
And he had his leg, he was lying flat and his legs were like this, bent. And his leg, where he was amputated from his knee, above his knee, and it was stuck up like he was leaning like on his foot.
Oh, okay.
And I said, is that not uncomfortable? And he didn't even realise he was doing it.
Oh, right, yeah.
And he was like, he looked at his leg like this, and I went, he goes, oh, I can feel my foot. And I said,
phantom pains.
Really? Yeah. So, and that was the first time I'd ever heard of phantom pains and feelings like that. And do you get that at all?
I do get phantom pains. When you first become an amputee, they're unbearable.
Really?
Because what happens is, obviously, in my case, I was, in my 20s when this happened. Your brain is then programmed to realise where every limb is on your body.
Yeah.
So obviously, when you hurt yourself, it's your brain telling you that you're hurt in a certain position of your body.
Yeah.
So your brain is programmed to always still feel like there's a limb there.
Yeah.
So it's just scrambled all up here.
Yeah.
Be like, okay, now we don't have it anymore.
Yeah.
Stop sending signals there like we do.
Yeah.
So right now, even though I'm looking at you, I can feel like I've got a big toe.
Really?
Yeah. It's really odd.
That's so mad, isn't it?
It's really strange. Again, it's just the signals from your brain just getting really confused.
Yeah.
And they can get really painful. When I was pregnant, because all my hormones were obviously everywhere.
Yeah.
They were really bad at the beginning.
Really?
Really, really unbearable. And if I'm unwell, just feeling run down, that's when I tend to get them quite a lot. Weather change, too hot, too cold. It's just, again, like
these
I said,
are all things you wouldn't know.
No,
Like,
you would never think.
You wouldn't know these things. That's incredible that you get pains like that.
Yeah, it's very odd.
Yeah, it's mad, isn't it?
Yeah.
And how old's your daughter?
She's 4.
Oh, that's nice.
Just
age,
about
isn't
to start school.
it? Really? Oh, how is that? Scary.
It is scary, yeah, because she now is asking me for another one. I'm like, I do want one, but I'm like, just wait a little bit longer.
Just a little bit longer.
But no, she's a character. She is so, I always say to people, it's so lovely because, she doesn't know me any different.
Yeah.
And she has her own relationship with my leg.
Really?
So she'll go, Mom, can I see leg? I go, okay, so I have to take my prosthetic off, take my liner off. She goes, how are your legs? You've been gone for ages.
That just kids are so innocent,
Kids
aren't they?
are so innocent. So yeah, and I took her to an event not long ago where there was other amputees and she was like, Mom, everyone's just like you. And I'm like, I know, babe.
So does she sort of has some sort of understanding at that age about it?
Yes, she does. And I think her understanding came maybe about a year ago. And again, in a supermarket and people are staring. And I think when they're 3, they become very aware. So I'm pretty sure it's between the age of like 2 and 4 is when people see difference, especially colour of skin.
Right.
That sort of difference. So they're aware around that age.
Yeah.
So, she obviously sees a lot of people when she knows that my leg is different.
Right.
So, a little kid came up to me in the supermarket, same kind of thing. And then she asked me, she went, but Mum, why is his mum's leg not like yours? Why can't he look at his mum's leg, not your leg? She gets a bit protective. I'm like, it's okay, babe. It's because, everyone's mum and dads or carers, whoever they're looking after them, are not like them.
Yeah.
Okay. Like she just kind of just has to go along with it like that. But that's her understanding. So she does know that, mummy's a little bit different, but, my love's still the same as any other parent.
Yeah. No, that's incredible. And then, thanks so much for coming on and sharing your story.
This has been so amazing.
Honestly, I'm blown away. And when you're just talking about your daughter then, and just think, when she's old enough to understand, she'll totally understand what an incredible person you are.
Oh, thank you so much.
And she's going to be very, very proud. So
thank you.
Thank you so much for coming in and sharing your story.
Thanks
That was
for
amazing.
having me.
Thanks, Sian.